When I was around 24 years old, I was in school, and I had met this young man, and I also had met, he was a Muslim actually, but he wasn't a practicing Muslim. So well, I also had met a girl in my class that was wearing full hijab like myself, and she had a face covering on. So I had asked her, why does she wear that on her face? And it looked so strange to me, right? So I said, well, can you tell me why you wear that? And she had explained to me that in Islam, the beauty of a woman, a Muslim woman, is something that is so honored and respected that we don't share it with everybody, so we conceal it. And it's also, backed up from the Quran that Muslim women have to cover. So I thought that was interesting. So then I said, okay, fine. I left it, and I had a relationship with this man at school. He was like a boyfriend. So I had later, I also had another friend. I'm not going to mention his name, but he was an Arab and he was Christian. And he thought, I guess at the time, that I was going to convert to Islam because I had this boyfriend. And even though I had no interest really about Islam, right? So he actually prompted me to learn about Islam because he used to bring, he used to work at this gas station close to my neighborhood, and he used to bring me information protesting, going completely against Islam, saying that Muslim women are, I guess I should be honest and say exactly what he said, that are whores, and that they're allowed to have more than one man, right? And this is actually coming from the Quran, he said. So I said, I said to this guy, I'm like, I really don't think that's true. I said, because my reference point back to the girl at school, I said, it doesn't make any sense, right? And I said, why would she cover if she was promiscuous? So I said, well, I don't know about that. So I said, and I guess in his mind, he was trying to get me away from, converting, because he thought, because of this Muslim boyfriend, he was going to marry me. Or it was like he was in a panic, telling me, bringing literature to me. He would bring literature to my mother at the store and pass it up to my mother. So I said, I don't even want to read this. I said, I'm not interested in anything about this. So anyway, I just said, I got fed up, and that made me interested. So I decided to go to the mosque and find out about what Islam was. And to be honest, I didn't really find out too much from there. And I thought, from what I did learn, that he was wrong. There was nothing in the Quran that stated that Muslim women are allowed to be promiscuous in any way. So I thought my journey ended. But it didn't. It actually just begun from there. So I went back, and I later found out that, I was pregnant for the Muslim guy at school. And, but he had left me. So I was now 5 months pregnant. And I was on the subway going to this new school. And from there, I looked up. I was sitting on the subway, and I looked up, and I saw Salia, the girl that I had met with the full hijab at school before. And I'm like, oh, I said, hi, how are you? And she's like, fine. And I said, where are you going? And she's like, well, I'm going to this new school. And I said, well, what one? It just so happened that we were both going to the same school now. We became very good friends, and I learned a lot about Islam from her. And it was never, I wasn't really, before going to the masjid or the mosque and inquiring for myself. Islam just came to me now, and I became friends with her and a few other girls at school, and she would often invite me, to her house, and I learned so much about Islam. The character of a Muslim, and and also I found very interesting was that she actually memorized the Quran, which is to me just a book at the time, and it was word for word she memorized it, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. So I wanted to know, what was in this book? What was so amazing about a book that someone would memorize word for word? And, there's just so many things that, that amazed me. And being around a Muslim person, a practicing Muslim person, do you see the beauty of Islam? And I don't know how to sum that up or give you one particular point, but I would go to her home, and I would see how she would interact, how she would dress, how she would eat, even how she prayed. I mean, I was with them numerous times where she would, say, oh, Crystal, you know what, I have to go pray. I have to find a place to pray. I found that amazing. You're just going to stop and it was winter time, freezing, And they were just a big support for me, especially at the time when I had nobody, you know. To be honest, I still wasn't interested in converting to Islam at all. I just said, nice religion, but not for me. So, after I had my daughter, I started realizing, like, what am I going to teach my daughter? Like, what am I going to teach my daughter? Like, how am I going to grow my daughter up? I'm going to cry because it's emotional. So, anyway, and the guy, he never came back, you know. Like, he did after I had my daughter, right? He wanted to, like, I had inquired about him to see her, but so I didn't really know how to, you know, raise this beautiful baby that I had. So, and I remember back to how Celia was and how her parents raised her, and I just saw this, you know, another way of living, right, other than my way, which was basically just you live and you do whatever you like in this world. You want to do this, you go do it. There's no direction in life. So I decided to look more